What's up, guys? It's Anthony from AB Fitness Center. I'm here with another success story. So I got on the line here my good friend Sam. So Samantha, I have to say the full name, right? Samantha. So Samantha's been with us for quite some time now during the quarantine, and she made phenomenal progress. And I would say like her progress is probably something that everybody should strive to do. So Sam, little backstory. So Sam has 3 children. She lost all her baby weight and then some. So she only lost 19 pounds, which is not really much on the scale, but went from a size 8 to a size 2 and currently sits leaner than she did ever in her life. So I think this is going to be a really, really cool episode for all you moms out there with kids who think, okay, I had kids, I'm done. That's it. It's over. So it's not really over. So Sam, what's up? How's everything going? I'm excited to hear from the champ herself today.
Hi, Anthony. How are you?
Good, Sam. Good. So let's roll right into this because I'm really excited for you one and for this episode today because like I said, a lot of women struggle with this. So give everybody a backstory on you. I mean, I know I kind of mentioned some stuff, but explain your story and kind of where you were, where you are now.
So, I had my first child back in 2014. And since then I had 2 more. After I had my first child, I hit about 175 pounds and I currently sit about 5'6". So I was quite heavy. After her, I lost some weight, got pregnant again, did it all again. 2 years ago, almost to the day, my son was born on Halloween. I sat at almost 180 pounds. That was 2 years ago. So then, I slowly started to drop the weight. And I kind of got stuck at about 137 pounds, which was not my normal state. Before I had my first child, I was sitting at like 127. And I was uncomfortable. I wanted to, get my old body back. Why wasn't I losing the weight? What was I doing wrong? And really, the quarantine happened and I started to listen to the famous Anthony Bevilacqua and all his videos. And I started to gain a lot of knowledge about like protein, what your body needs, tracking your food, how important nutrition is for your body. And I downloaded my fitness app and the weight started to slowly come off. I got stuck again at about like 131 pounds and I joined the team. And since then, I lost another 9 to 10 pounds. And I currently sit leaner than I was when I was 19 years old. So I had 3 kids and I'm the leanest that I've ever been. And honestly, the happiest I've ever been with how I look, how I feel, and my approach towards life, honestly.
So you said so much there. So I deal with a lot of people all day, and women especially once they have kids, and not just one, not just two. You had 3, which I commend you for that. I have 2. Very tough. I don't know how you do it with 3, but neither here nor there. You said a lot of stuff in there that a lot of women think it's impossible, right? So first and foremost, let's cover this. You have 3 kids. You've managed to do all this during quarantine with the kids home, running around and working full time. So give us some like your time management skills. Like how the hell did you pull this off? For another mother or father listening to this with kids and a full plate like that, how did you manage to do that?
It's not
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
Honestly, it's really putting in the time and the effort to structure your day. So really, having a pattern and a schedule is really what works for me. So for me, it's like the kids are up at 5:45, 6 in the morning. So, I get up with the kids and I know in my head, I have to get them ready first. So I start getting them ready, start the daily schedule. I usually get up, I drink like 2 bottles of water to kind of get me going until all the kids are dropped off. which I do myself. I get home and then I immediately make myself breakfast. And as you know, I love breakfast. Breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. So I really take the time to say, I'm going to make myself breakfast, and I block my time out in my calendar for work. So nobody puts anything in that time slot. And then I have my breakfast and I start my day at work, which I sit a lot. And again, I work full time. So I work up until probably the kids come home. My husband's a teacher, so he'll go pick them up, come home. I usually start making dinner around 4 o'clock. After dinner, we're very scheduled with the kids' bedtimes. So I'm constantly on the
You're
go.
routined.
Right. I'm very routine. And my workout time is at 8 p.m. Like that is my time. 8 p.m. until 8:45 is my time to work out, decompress, relax, do what I have to do. So I usually work out for about 30 to 40 minutes. Then I start my cleaning regimen. I'll finish up anything that I have to do at work, and then it's shower, and then it's bed. So really for me, it's scheduling and blocking that time in my calendar to make that time for my food and my fitness.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of just parents or people in general just make excuses for things, and it really boils down to really wanting it. If you want it, you're gonna go out there and you're gonna do whatever you have to do to make it happen. So for you, I think it was just a little bit easier, especially working with you. You're a very routine person. I mean, I knew that going into this, that was just the way you explained to me how you put your kids to bed at night. So I knew that you were a very routine and structured person. So I think that somebody listening to this who claims that they don't have the time, I think you really need to structure your day out, because that's going to make all the difference, especially when it comes to like having kids and just life getting in the way as always. And we talked about this all the time, but life is always going to get in the way. It's never going to be a perfect day, but you got to do what you can to kind of work around that and get the results in and get the benefits of it. And you've done that for sure. And the other thing that I forgot to mention, you've done all this virtually. Like we've worked out virtually. You have yet to do one session in person with us yet. So that just goes to show you that it's all about your nutrition, and the online nutrition and just the accountability that we've been giving you has made all the difference. So that kind of leads me into my next question. So, mom of three, and I'm stressing that because I think I have a little bit of a thing with this. So when I'll give you guys a little backstory. I got to tell a little story quick. So when I first started in this, I was young. I started at 18. So I was working at a gym at 18, and I would train everybody older than me. I was training everybody at the time. And every time I got like someone who was, a mom or whatever, they would tell me how busy they were and they never had time. And it's like, it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic. And now that I'm on the other side of it, I'm like, it's totally realistic. I do it every day. So it's so funny when I get someone like you who succeeds. It's just like, it's almost like I'm proving those old people wrong. So anyway, let's talk about your nutrition. So I know that's been, so first and foremost, I've talked about this, so many times, but 70% of your results are going to come from what you eat. So the nutrition has been the key in your results and changing things for you. So let's talk about your nutrition and your nutrition beliefs before, like what you did before. I'll probably chime in, and then I want to talk about what's going on now.
Yeah, so my nutrition before this was especially after I had kids, and I was one of those moms. I was one of the, I don't have the time. I can't do this. The kids are everywhere, and you get in your own head and you're like, I just can't do this. And you almost convince yourself that you can't.
You took the word right out of my mouth, because it's true. It's not like a lie. Like they are everywhere. They take up every second. It's not a lie, but like you just said, you convince yourself that it's that is what it is.
Right. And honestly, so I was one of those moms. So really my nutrition, and moms can totally relate to this, was like picking at the kids' food that they didn't eat. So I'm eating, dino nuggets and French fries and their leftover like meatball and spaghetti. Honestly, just picking. I was so terrible at my nutrition because all I would do all day was pick, 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 pick. And I would go sometimes like I wouldn't eat almost till like 3 in the afternoon. So I was just not eating, fueling myself on coffee and sugar, and then picking at the kids' lunch, picking at the kids' dinner, and then like picking at the end of the night, I would just go for, my chocolate chip cookies because I'm a big sweets person. And eat like, a sleeve of Oreos or something like that, and then go to bed. Like that was my nutrition. I mean, I thinking back on it, it was so terrible. I don't even know why I would do that to my body, but in my own head, it's like, I don't have time. I'm just going to eat whatever the kids have, right here because I got to get back to this meeting or work or, anything else that, life throws at you during the day. So really that was my nutrition then. A lot of picky eating and a lot of like just leftover scrap eating.
All right. So now, having said that, right? So now I come along, this weird talking head. I come along and I totally change everything, right? So talk about that moment that you get the plan from me right away, and what was like your first initial thoughts, and then how did it evolve for you? Talk about the whole nutrition process for you from the second I sent you the plan to right now.
So when you the second you sent me the plan, I'm like, who eats this much protein? Honest to God, being fully transparent, my first reaction was like, I'm never going to be able to eat this much protein. This is insanity. I'm never going to be able to honestly just eat this much. And within like kind of this, macro, standard that I have. And that was my initial reaction. But I started to really gain knowledge on foods that were high in protein, lower in calorie, because originally we started in like a fat loss phase. And, I started to really gain a love for, egg whites. They have a lot of protein, they're low in calorie, like finding these niches of these foods that I actually really enjoy, and then realizing that I was eating so much more than I was beforehand and losing weight. Like it was almost like an oxymoron. Like, and I was in my own head and I was like, I can't believe this. And not only that, I started to then realize, oh, I can have, because I'm a sweets person, I can have pie in the morning. I know I like dessert for breakfast. I can have apple cobbler for
Yeah,
breakfast.
hold on. We actually probably should have talked about that too. So first and foremost, so we practice flexible dieting here. Flexible dieting, basically what that means is that you can kind of eat anything that you want as long as you fit everything into your daily budget. So there's two types of people in this world, and I'm the opposite. So some people can eat a lot in the morning. They wake up, they're very, very hungry. And the other type of people who are people like me who don't get hungry in the morning at all, like I could totally skip breakfast and lunch, but I get super hungry at night. So Sam is very hungry in the morning and she's a sweets person. So for her, her breakfast is her biggest meal of the day. It's like an event. Like she said it earlier that she blocks off her calendar for breakfast. So it's an event. And Sam would send me pictures of her breakfast and it's like egg whites and cake. I'm like, Sam, who eats that? How do you eat that so much for breakfast? But go ahead. So Sam did all this eating sweets almost every day.
Almost, honestly, almost every single day. So my breakfast, and I mean, people look at me like I'm weird. They don't even know where I put it sometimes, but I'll have like 8 egg whites, 3 protein pancakes, and like a side of banana cream pie, like a slice. And I weigh it out. Let's not be,
Right,
I don't
right,
eat the whole pie,
right.
but that's my breakfast with a cup of coffee. And like I would send you pictures, apple cobbler, key lime pie, because I love to bake chocolate chip cookies, and that's why I block it out of my calendar because I'm so hungry in the morning. I back to the nutrition, I was like realizing, oh my god, like I can eat cake and I can eat cookies and I can eat all these things and still lose weight and make gains, with my fat loss and my muscle gain. So it was almost like a revelation and eye opening to say, I can eat the things that I love and still lose weight and still be healthy and happy with how I look and how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, that's so liberating too. And I tell people that all the time. It's like it becomes so much more of a relief when you understand, like, okay, look, my body only sees these numbers. It doesn't see what I'm eating. So it's not like your body was saying, oh, she has cake, I'm just gonna store all this. Your body was saying the total opposite. It's like, okay, here's my fuel for the day. I'm gonna get rid of some of this other body fat. So looking back, knowing what you know now, nutrition wise, if you could go back and examine your old diet, what was the major difference in what you were eating as far as like the macronutrient breakdown? So you were obviously having a lot more carbs and fat, obviously. So how many extra calories did you think you were actually consuming, looking back now? So like, I guess a standard mom diet versus where you are now.
And
Because that's the trouble right there. Those calories
yeah,
add
and
up quick.
honestly, what people say, and I was one of these people, it's like, oh my God, I barely eat and I'm not losing weight. But you don't realize what you're eating is just so high in carbs and fat and calories that, you can eat. I'm eating, dino chicken nuggets or, a sleeve of chocolate chip cookies, which 3 chocolate chip cookies are like 160 calories. So, like, a sleeve of them, you're talking about a full meal in just cookies. It's not filling you. You're going to be hungry in 30 minutes and then you're going to eat something else. And honestly, my protein intake was so low. I didn't even realize that I wasn't even taking in a consistent amount of protein enough to, fuel my muscles and fuel my body and make me feel satiated. Because it just consists of fully carbs. It was pasta. It was because the kids, that's what they eat, like, macaroni and cheese. A lot of that was just me picking. And then at the end of the night, going for the sweets, the cookies, the ice cream, just to fill me up till I can get a sugar rush and then go to bed. So looking back on it, just not realizing, how many calories I was really taking in, because you think, oh, it's such a little amount of food, but it's really depending on what you're eating. And what I was eating just had so much carbs and fat and calories that even though I was eating so little, it was banking, I was banking like maybe, to be honest with you, 3,000 calories in like almost nothing.
I'll never forget one day I sat with someone and this woman came in and she's like, I only eat like 300 calories a day. I'm like, okay. All right. She was like really adamant about explaining that she only had that many calories. I'm like, okay, do you track your calories? Do you track your calories? Do you use anything? She's like, no, but I know I don't eat anything. It's okay. Well, what are you eating a day? So I took out my fitness pal. I went through with her. So she went from eating only 300 calories a day. She had like almost 3,000. And again, it's you don't even realize like what you're doing. It's not something that you're doing something. And you summed it up perfectly. You're like you think you're eating nothing, and then you actually ate so much.
Right. You don't even realize it's like, and then you think you're being healthy. Like, oh, I had avocado and feta cheese in my salad. Well, okay. You add all of that up and you just had like a 1,300 calorie salad without even thinking, oh, this is healthy. This is good for me. I'm going to lose weight eating this. And then you're turning your salad into, a full on, potentially 1,500 calorie meal, like with bacon bits and blue cheese and all this other stuff. And it's like, oh, but it's healthy. No, I don't. And I was doing that. Like, I loved avocados. I would have like a full avocado thinking, oh, this is great. This is good for my body. Well, yeah, but not on top of the sleeve of cookies and the macaroni and cheese and the chicken bites. I mean, you get into a place where you think you're eating healthy, or you're thinking you're eating so little, but you're actually consuming so much. So I think tracking calories was a big also eye opener for me. Like, wow, okay, that I'm not eating. This I want to eat, so I'm going to eat this, and I'm going to put it into my day so I can eat this, because this is what I enjoy and this is what I like.
I'm so proud of you. Hearing you talk, you're like a little mini me. Because everything you're saying, I feel like I hear, like I say it all the time to people. So it's good when someone else hears it, So I'm just super proud of you. You really have come a long way, especially in the nutrition front. So And again, this is why we always preach like, okay, this is what's going to get you permanent results. Because do you ever see yourself going back to doing what you did before now? Even if you just stopped tracking and you just said, all right, I'm never going to log anything again. Do you ever see yourself making those same mistakes again?
Absolutely not. I think once, and I owe like all my success to, the AB Fitness team and the family. I mean, honestly, it's been amazing. But I mean, once you start tracking, after you do it for a while, it almost becomes second nature. Like, okay, that's, 5 ounces of this probably, you just, and the thing is, you could just never go back because it's almost ingrained in you. Like, it's almost ingrained in me now. Like, if I honestly didn't track for a full day, I could probably give a range of where I'm at macros wise without even tracking, without even knowing, just because of how long I've been doing it now. And the thing is, like, too, when you're tracking and you're eating, and I'm very routine, so I eat a lot of the same foods. It becomes
A
almost
lot of the
second
same cakes for breakfast.
nature. Don't knock it till you try it.
I can't eat. I just can't eat that much. My stomach would kill me the entire day if I ate like that. I literally, so backtracking a little bit of myself, like I can't even have like breakfast for me. First of all, I'm running around with the kids in the morning, so it's like impossible for me to sit down and make breakfast. So I started having a shake in the morning. When did I start doing that? A couple years back. And that was like a huge accomplishment for me in the morning. Like I literally, when I was younger and I would try to sit there and eat breakfast, it would take me literally so long to eat it. So long. So I don't know how you do that. But anyway, neither here nor there. One of the other things that I want to talk to you about was, like I mentioned earlier in the intro, Sam has not done one in-person session with us. She did it all virtual. So people listening to this, and especially when COVID hit and the gym had to close and we transitioned everything to virtual, which is basically we do it via Zoom, and it's still personal training because we could see you, we could correct your form. People are skeptical. That doesn't work. That's not for me. And here comes Sam with 3 kids, a full-time job, a husband, a household to take care of, and she's totally destroying everything that everyone says when they're like, oh, they're skeptical, it's not going to work. So how was the virtual training? Let everyone listening to this know about how that was. Like, was that difficult for you in the beginning? And I have a couple of things I'm going to make fun of you about.
Oh God. No. So honestly, so it was difficult in the beginning because I think whenever you start working out, obviously, it's a new structure. It's a new, like, you're learning. So that was a bit of an adjustment, but when it comes to like the virtual training, it's so easy. You just, you log in, you have a one-on-one person with you giving you instructions on what to do. And really you do it. I mean, I started to then, like, because I like the virtual, it really fits with my schedule because I have to work out very late at night. I started to invest in some weights. But before that, I didn't really have weights. I only had like one weight. And I would work out and progressively get myself higher and higher for more, more weight and more weight. And honestly, I was just kind of blown by how much weight I could do. But honestly, so easy and just so great. And just the support system was amazing. And for me, it works in my schedule. It was like what worked for me. And I continue to make gains on my weight, from really week to week. So, I mean, it's been nothing but great and easy for me.
So I want to make fun of you a little bit because I never forget in the beginning when you're like, I don't know how this virtual is going to work because I literally have one dumbbell and then I have one 50-pound dumbbell that's like in the corner. And I remember you sending me a picture of the 50-pound dumbbell in the corner. I'm like, Sam, you're going to end up using that dumbbell. Don't get rid of it. You're like, I'm not going to use that. There's no way. So why don't you talk about the first time you slung around that 50?
Oh my God. So I had been dreading it. I was like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And I kept saying it to myself. And then, because you almost, like I said, with the nutrition, you talk yourself out of it. Like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And then finally I was like, you know what? I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to do it. I'm going to squat with it. And I'm going to, do sumo squats with it. And I picked it up and I did it the entire session for leg day. And I was just like, I almost cried. Like, I was like, I can't believe I just did this. Like, I just picked up a 50-pound dumbbell and squatted with it and was able to pick it up. It was a really honest to God, just crazy moment for me. Like, so accomplished, and the feeling of, when you say you can't do it, you can. Just like, you just got to do it. You can't, your mind is way stronger like than your body. Like, you're so much stronger than what your mind tells you. And that's what that told me. And I just didn't even think about it. I just like was like, I'm picking it up, and I just picked it up. Like, I just did it. And it was awesome. And it was awesome feeling.
Yeah, and now you're a monster. Now you have like 90s. You're slinging around the 90s now. But yeah, it just goes to show you that, listen, if, like I said in the beginning, if there's a will, there's a way. You're gonna get it done. If you really want this, and I guess you could talk about this too, where it's like, I feel like some people just kind of like, they half want it. Like, they want it, but then they don't want to work for it. They're like, yeah, I'll just start Monday. But what was kind of like, I guess you could kind of relate to that. What was that moment for you where you were like, all right, I definitely need help? Like, what was that like pushed you over the edge? Were you putting on like a pair of pants and they didn't fit? Like, what was that like moment where you're like, shit, I need some help?
So when the lockdown happened, I mean, obviously we have 3 kids. My husband and we're not used to all being together for so long. But the thing is, I kept going in, like, the fridge was calling me. The fridge, I would open the fridge and I felt the fridge telling me, just close me. Like, why am I even open? I would just open it, like, to open. I don't even know. I just kept eating and eating and eating, especially being home, like, and not even eating to sit down meals. It was like picking, constant picking, snacking, picking. Right. Like, almost like I have nothing else to do. And I'm so stressed that these kids are screaming and running around and we can't go anywhere, do anything. And I just sat down and my pants were like, stretching, and I was uncomfortable. And I just sat down and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I cannot feel this crappy. Like, I just felt gross and blah and tired. And I was just like, I have to do something, and I have to do something like now. And from that moment, I dedicated myself to saying, I'm going to do this. I am going to make this work, and I am going to succeed at it. And I started to watch your videos, and I started to really start to gain the knowledge. And then, drop the hammer and say, I want AB Fitness to help me. I want to be a part of this family. And, from that moment, sitting down, feeling like that, I just said, I'm going to do this. And I said, I'm going to put my all into it. And, wherever I get to, if I know I tried my best and I want it that bad, I'm not going to fail.
Love it. You have to have that killer mentality. You have to. It's so important. So what would you say the 3 biggest benefits you've experienced as a result of working with us? So it could be anything. It could be like, obviously, the way you look. It could be anything mentally. So what were your 3 biggest benefits?
So my big, so I'll start off with like the shallow one. I mean, honestly, like, it's there. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. When you're a mom of 3, you tend to, quote unquote, let yourself go, or you don't feel, attractive, or you don't feel the same. And honestly, that was a huge benefit for me. I love the way I look. I love, looking in the mirror and putting on pants that I feel comfortable in and that I feel good in, and that is just a reality. I would say the second thing is just feeling good, like feeling like I have energy, like I'm just, happy, and, feeling like, I could move on with the rest of my day without so much sugar and coffee and all this, you know what I mean? Because that's what I would do. I was just kind of get all the caffeine in. So I had that buzz and I would just crash and feel terrible. But just feeling good throughout the day without that. I mean, I still have coffee, let's be honest. But not overdoing it and just feeling overall good, like the health benefits of it, knowing what fuels my body and what makes me feel good. Um, and I would say, and the third thing is, honest to God, teaching my kids, like the AB Fitness and the AB Fitness family has taught me how to teach my kids to eat right too. And honestly, I think for a mom, all you care about, like not all you care about, but your main focus in life are the little people that you care about. And for me to give them healthy nutritional tips and how to eat and make that part of their daily life was the most important. And teaching them how to be healthy and how to be balanced and how to eat truly, I think, means the most to me. And AB Fitness and the AB Fitness family has done that for me and my family. And that to me was the most amazing thing.
That's an awesome point, an interesting point too, because even for me, I always think I'm teaching you, and that's kind of it. But you've influenced your entire house. Your husband lost a bunch of body fat listening to you. So, what did you teach the kids? What did you teach your husband? Talk a little bit about that, because like I said, it wasn't just you who's made these changes. Your entire house has made those changes.
Yeah. So when I spoke about that moment that I had, and my husband is very supportive, and he was like, it's hard to do it when you're the only one. He's like, you know what, I need to get healthy, I need to lose weight, you're right, let's do this together. And I would like send him your videos, and I would tell him, no, don't eat that, don't eat this. Or eat, if you eat that, then you need more protein. And like, I was almost annoying, but I really influenced him, and he actually dropped over 50 pounds himself. So he was always into the lifting portion of it, but not the nutrition. So I think I really influenced him in that aspect, and he really dropped a lot of weight as well. But really, my kids actually talk about, oh, this has a lot of protein in it, mom, this is good for you, like, and it almost hits you like, oh my God, like, that's crazy. They know how important protein is. They know how important having a balanced diet is at 6 and 4 years old. My 2-year-old, he doesn't care. But my 6 and my 4-year-old, to hear them talk about it, to hear them say, mom, I'm not going to eat cake because I really want, a piece of candy later. Like, who are you? Are you like,
We don't realize what we do that they pay attention to. The little people pay attention. They do.
yeah, they do. And honestly, just hearing them talk about like protein and carbs, and I really want like turkey today because it's high in protein and it's good for you. What is happening? So I mean, that to me was amazing, and really influencing my house to be healthier, happier, but just balanced. I mean, I know, a lot of people get stuck up on, you can't have that, it's cake. I'm like, I can have it. It'll be all right. I'm not gonna say I eat the whole cake, but having a balanced diet and eating things in moderation is part of being happy and part of being healthy. So teaching that to my kids, not eat 10 cupcakes, was really awesome, and to hear them talk about it. So I think I've really influenced them that way. And especially my husband has had high triglycerides his whole life, and he recently went to the doctor, and no more.
Hey,
He's fully healthy.
so you're in your household since you started working with AB Fitness Center. Your guys are down almost 70 pounds, just a little over 70 pounds. So that's amazing. It's really, really good. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So Sam, if someone was on the fence about hiring AB Fitness Center, what would you say to them?
I would say you're crazy. Don't be on the fence. Don't think about it. Just do it. Like, just keep going and hire AB Fitness. It is a family. It has helped me. It has changed my life, and it will change theirs. And don't think you can't do it. Just call Anthony and get it done.
All right, so that was the politically correct answer, right? So now, if you were to recommend AB Fitness Center to your best friend, what would the truth, like, what would you really say?
Oh, if I was saying it to my best friend, I'm going to be like, listen, they're the best. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to work at it. But hard in a good way. They're going to keep you accountable. They're going to keep you motivated. And they're going to really tailor to your needs. I mean, it's not, I would say to them, it's not like somebody breathing down your neck. But it's definitely nice to have a support system. So I would tell them that. But I would definitely tell them, listen, if you think it's easy, it's not. If it was easy, everybody would do it, let's be honest. But if you set your mind to something and you really want it, AB Fitness is the way.
Awesome. So we're going to leave this off with one question. So someone listening to this right now, now after listening to you, you really inspired them. What is the best piece of advice you could give somebody who's just starting out in order to have results better than yours?
Oh God.
Biggest piece of advice. One thing. Don't go crazy.
Thinking of a novel in my head, monologue. My biggest piece of advice to have better results for me if you're starting out is don't doubt yourself. Just, I think, with my story about the weights and not picking up the 50 pounds, never doubt yourself. You could do anything. Just put your heart into it, and, you'll have better results than me, and stick with it. Just put in the time and stick with it, and you could do it. Honestly, honest to God, that would be my one piece of advice. I think doubting yourself is probably, the worst thing. I think that's why most people don't do it, because they talk themselves out of it. So I would say just don't doubt yourself, move forward. And if you want to do it, just go for it.
And I'm going to ask a follow-up question to that, because I want best piece of advice nutrition-wise also. Because nutrition, honestly, is the hardest part of it. The exercise portion of it, you hop on, you do the exercise, you're done, that's it. You force yourself to do that. But the nutrition's all day. So what would be your biggest piece of advice nutrition-wise?
Get a food scale. I didn't have a food scale. You don't have to, but I didn't have a food scale at first. And when you're starting out, it's really nice to know exactly until you get more comfortable with it. I was under eating without even realizing it, without a food scale. So I would say, from a nutrition perspective, having a food scale from the get really gives you that precise idea of the portions you're eating and how much it is.
And do you need the food scale right now? So yeah, okay, good. So I always tell people that too. So I like that you're saying it, not me this time. But I always tell everybody you need a food scale in the beginning just to get an idea of what's what. And once you get it, then you can kind of say, okay, that's about this, that's about this. But you got to have that base first. If you don't have it, that's it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So when I first started, I would just kind of throw things on a plate thinking, yeah, that's 2 ounces. Meanwhile, when I actually got it on a scale, I'm like, oh my God, it was only an ounce. Or, you just don't have that sense yet of what precisely you're eating. But I think like once you get into it, like right now, I mean, I could definitely not use the scale for the whole day and probably be pretty on target what I'm going to eat. So it's not something that, you have to have a scale attached to you, but it's definitely a piece of advice I would give for first starting out to get better results.
Awesome, Sam. Well, listen, thank you so much for this today, because like I said, you're going to inspire so many other moms who've had kids, who don't think they could do it, who think that their bodies are done and they kind of give up. So I think you're going to be that beacon of light for everybody. So thank you so much. And if you're listening to this after the fact, just head on over to abfitnesstrainer.com and just apply to the program. Like Sam said, just do it. All right. So Sam, thank you again so much. This was amazing. And like I said, you're going to be a big inspiration for a lot of women listening to this.
Awesome. Thank you, Anthony.